April 1st. The trees are blooming and some of the flowers as well. April showers will bring more. Sometimes, however, when Lent begins late, as it did this year, it seems to me like it goes on forever. I'm sure the elect are thinking that it has. And these readings, familiar to us, are really for them, because they are about freedom and healing. And of course, water is central to it all, the water of new life. The prophet Ezekiel wrote in the 6th century before the Common Era. He may have been among the exiles sent to Babylon with the fall of Jerusalem. This passage is the climax of a series of chapters on the temple. The flowing waters were not to be taken literally, but are symbolic of the life-giving power flowing forth from the temple. The waters that flow toward the Dead Sea turn it into a life-giving water source. There will be fish and other living creatures, trees and fresh fruit for food and medicine. These waters are symbolic of life and fertility. Just like the prophet's dead bones image, out of death and disaster, he promises hope and new life. At the Easter Vigil, we will experience new life flowing from the font. The Gospel is a mix of important themes. Conflict over working on the Sabbath, a connection between sin and suffering, responsibility and healing. Throughout his ministry, Jesus is pursued by questions about the Sabbath. Here is another example, but actually for us, it is a diversion. This sign, the second in John's book of signs, the first part of his gospel, is more about healing, our desire for healing, the desires of the elect for healing in the waters of baptism. The paralyzed man is a curious character. As is often the case in the Gospels, he is nameless, which makes him every man. That is to say, us, you and me. There was a tradition that on occasion, new waters bubbled up in this pool and had curative effects. As you can imagine, a lot has been written about this. Even so, the man's reaction to Jesus' offer seems rather lame. 38 years? Is he also morally and spiritually paralyzed? He doesn't seem to take responsibility for his situation. It makes one wonder how much he really wants to be healed and embrace new life. As we have seen, even Jesus cannot heal those who do not want to be healed. Give thanks to God. Be liberated and take responsibility for their actions. Each of us has to examine to what extent we are paralyzed. Not physically, perhaps, but morally and spiritually. It's particularly challenging when we look at what is going on around us and in the world. Can I say that I am not morally or spiritually paralyzed in the face of all the dangerous and outright cruel actions I see taken every day? Actions because of which people may die. In what does my paralysis exist? Am I taking responsibility? To what extent, in fact, do I desire to experience new life, to be healed from my paralysis, to be converted. The conversion of the elect is our conversion too. Let us join them, in a manner of speaking, in praying the scrutinies of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Sundays of Lent for ourselves, that along with them we may be strengthened against worldly deceits of every kind, that we may be freed from sin and grow in the holiness that leads to eternal life, that we may be filled with the hope of the life-giving Spirit, and that we may walk in the newness of life, freed from our own paralysis. And as Jesus said, hopefully, to the once paralyzed person, he will say to us, "Look, you are well. Go and sin no more."